The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff and management of WWDB TV.
Whether she's walking the red carpet or doing interviews, you'll find her with celebrities and all the latest news. She's here, she's there, she's everywhere, she's always on the go. So sit back, relax, and get ready, 'cause it's the Corey Taylor Talks Show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Corey Taylor Talks, live from Las Vegas, the #1 teen talk show. I am so excited about my guest today because I love her. I've been raised on her. And if you've ever been to Vegas, you definitely know who this woman is, because you're truly an icon, like absolutely an icon, and everyone just adores you. So I have the one and only Miss Rikki Cheese with me. So hi, Rikki, how are you?
I am so happy and so flattered that you asked me to be on your show. This will be
goodness,
my second appearance, and when she called and said, actually you texted me, and I was like, really? You want me to come back after my first performance? Like, yes, this is fantastic. Yes. So thank you very much.
Of course I do. Oh my goodness. No, it's truly just an honor, and you're like the best person, and you're such a ray of sunshine, and and you can tell you have such an amazing heart, and it comes out, and everyone truly just loves you, and you're really just incredible. So it's an honor having you on.
Thank you. Well, I've been really blessed. I'm a Las Vegas local, and I've grown up in this community, and it's just remarkable to me how Las Vegas has always been family. Yeah. I don't think, even as we've developed, and you've got Summerlin, and you got Anthem, and you've got all these little Centennial Hills. I could tell people I live in Centennial Hills. No, you live in Las Vegas. Because to the world, we're Las Vegas. They don't differentiate between these little different suburbs or we're all Las Vegas. Yeah. And I think that's how we identify. And I think that that's also the way that people treat each other here in this community. You know, they really, really, really do love each other. And you can see that when there's any sort of outreach that needs to be done, people do it, and they come out, and like you calling me or I'm calling you, people respond. And so I've grown up on love in this community. Yeah. It's not even, when people ask me how I got into TV, it was, not only was it just God sent all these angels. I never thought that it wasn't something I thought about doing when I was a kid, because my mother was a singer, so I thought that's what I was going to do, or I was going to be a writer. And so when I was going to UNLV, I looked back on this time now. When I was in high school, all of the high schools had sort of like radio programs to a certain degree, and then they had TV programs. So I was already involved in that in high school. Then I went to UNLV, and I started working at KUNV, the radio station there. And then one of my classmates came up one day as I was checking out all of the Runnin' Rebel recruits coming in the student union. And so he said, they need somebody to do movie reviews over at Channel 10. Okay, I can do that. I'd never done a movie review. I totally plagiarized. The statute of limitations has run out, but I'll tell you the truth. I plagiarized the heck out of People Magazine. I didn't know how to write a movie review. So I would just go on People Magazine and see how they did it, and I would just write it up and just pretend like I was doing it. But that's how I actually got started, because I didn't even have a role model, when I was getting started. So I was just making it up as I went along. And really, literally, God sent me person after person, because after that, the guy I was working for at, it was Channel 10, he said, well, how would you like to do stories for my show? I said, oh, okay. And then after that, he said, well, how would you like to have your own show? Oh, okay. And then somebody else said, well, how would you like to work for a radio station? Oh, okay. And then, well, how would you like to work for another TV station? Oh, okay. So I'm like the A-OK girl. It's like, if you call me and say, would you like to do this? I say, A-OK. And I really wanted to emphasize that At no time was I ever an expert in any of the things I said A-OK to. What I would do is I would say A-OK, and then I would find somebody who actually knew what I had said OK to. It's like, girl, you got to show me how to do this, because I have no idea what I just agreed to. But it's Friday, and I've got to have at least an idea to fake it on Monday. And so, but what happens, I think, is if you believe in yourself and you really want to do something in the world, people will be sent to you. So I look back at all the love that I got from people who were just giving me opportunities I didn't even know that were so amazing at the time.
Right.
And so I think it's really important for me to give back and to really help people, other people as much coming up and say, what do you need to be successful? How do you figure out who you think you are? Because who you think you are today may not be who you are tomorrow.
Right.
But find out in your heart, what are your talents? What are your skills? What are your dreams? And somebody will be sent to help you figure it out.
No, I think that's awesome. And, I really do think that shows how talented you are, because yes, it's okay. It's easy to say okay to something, but to actually pull it off successfully, no, that's tough. And I don't think people really comprehend how difficult it is, especially what you did in the news. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine doing that, because that was just a mess. It looks like.
And I'll tell you, there is a real learning curve. I can look, people now say, oh, you do a really good job. I sucked in the very beginning, and quite a few people had no problem looking at me going, you suck, and you need to find another way. Oh, my feelings were hurt so much in the early years. Well, I remember my first audition tape, which is somewhere in my closet, and someday I'll bring it out. Well, I don't know why. I thought I needed to talk like this, like Betty Boop. And I had like how Oprah's wearing her hair now? I had this big old huge hairdo going. And I just thought I needed to talk like this. And so I went to another woman who was at Channel 10, and I showed her my audition tape, and she was a very kind person. And she said, well, Rikki, there are some things that we could do to improve this. She didn't say I sucked. But when I was looking for jobs, quite a few people said, you suck. And so every time somebody would say I sucked, I'd say, well, tell me how I suck. And then they would give me specific guidelines, like you need to pronounce your words a different way, or you need to do this. And so I would go home and practice. So what you see now is really, trust me, the groundwork was laid of a lot of work, and it's just like an athlete or anybody who's going into a profession. Nobody rolls out of bed and just knows what they're doing right away. It's years of practice. It's years of developing. When I first started, not so much when I was reporting, when I was reporting too, we had some of the first photographers I worked with were hardcore ex-military, and they smoked. And I would do my stand-up, and they'd go, that sucks, do it again.
Oh my goodness.
The sucks was the big word back then. It was like the F-bomb. It was the S-bomb. And so then when I started anchoring, then the viewers would call in. Oh, she's terrible. Get her off the air. And I didn't care. I would cry. My mother taught me, she said, never let him see you cry. Wait till you get into the car and get to Walmart. Right. And then pull in the Walmart parking lot, and that's where you cry. So I was like, I'm in the Walmart parking lot going, I can't believe they said that. Someday they're gonna be wrong. Yeah.
And they were.
So just know, if you're getting started, don't compare yourself to somebody that you see who's at the top of their game. Look at how long they've been doing it. For some reason, my favorite these days is Beyonce, because I think people can really relate. Beyonce has been doing her thing since she was 2. If you look and find some YouTube videos, you can see video of Beyonce when she was 2 and 3. So, Beyonce's been doing this for a really long time. Now, she was kind of cute even then, but the moves that you see, the voice that you see, the performance that you see, that has been decades in the making of every single day. I think I shared with you the first time I was on your show, I hurt my own feelings. I actually hurt more than my feelings. I had gotten a Beyonce DVD from the library, one of her concert DVDs. So I'm sitting on the couch, and my dogs are there. Got my 2 Akitas, and I saw, they're the sweetest dogs, and but they're also pretty hardcore. And so I saw this move that Beyonce did, and I thought, that looks really pretty easy. So I got up and I pushed the coffee table to the side, and like I said, I hurt more than my feelings. And they looked at me like, Ma, we're not even going to tell the other dogs in the neighborhood, but you just tried to pull off. That's embarrassing. But it looked so easy, and I had fun. Beyonce rehearses every day. This is her job. She's not just getting up off the couch and like, let me throw my leg up in the air and do it. No, she's been working on those skills since she was a child.
Yeah.
And I had to just kind of sit back on the couch and go, really, I'm glad that nobody had to call UNC to come and get me, because it looked very easy until I tried to do it. So.
No, and I was always told, I loved when I heard this, there's no such thing as an overnight success, and it's completely true. And you might think of it, but then you see the years and years and years it took for them to get there, and it really is. It's crazy, but you're so crazy talented.
Thank you.
You really are, and everyone just adores you. And like I said, your personality and stuff is really what makes you shine and what makes you stand out from so many people, because there's a million people out there that are trying to become broadcasters and trying to do this, and they're not anywhere as successful as you, because it's who you are, and I think that's really an incredible thing.
I just really love people. I really love, like, when I remember meeting you for the first time, being so impressed. I have to just go ahead, even though she's interviewing me, I have to throw this out there. This woman is a movie star. We're going to see her in Hollywood for her Oscars. I went to her movie review of, how do you say that again?
Telephobia.
Telephobia. It's the second of a trilogy by Joe Lujan, who is a Las Vegas guy, but he was actually born in El Paso. There's this big, huge, burgeoning film industry here in town.
Huge,
Trust me, you should get in on the ground floor now, because Las Vegas is just going to blow up.
Yeah.
But she was the star of the movie, and I didn't realize that she was the star of the movie. The movie starts out, and there's this beautiful girl, and she's doing all this stuff, and she's screaming, and I'm going, that's Corey. Oh my goodness! And then no spoiler alert. I'm not going to tell you how the movie ends, but I was really, really impressed, because you are actually also a representative of this community where you have gotten started, as a young artist, and you're putting it out there, and you're doing, just remarkable work. But you're putting your one foot right in front of the other. You're not stopping. You have a plan. And Joe, meeting him, I realized that all of his actors that he's working with, these are locals. These are people that he's reaching out to here in the community. And he's got a movie that he's casting for coming up in May, and he said he's looking for actors. I said, can I be one? But you're right. It really does come down to, and what I saw with your cast, you guys enjoy each other's company.
Right.
And I enjoy company. I can get into a conversation with anybody. I can be in Walmart. I can be at the at the gas station. I could be at the groomers. I could be at the dog park. And I just really like talking to people and finding out, who are you? Why are you here? What do you like about Las Vegas? One of my favorite questions is, what made you move to Las Vegas? Why did you, if the person's not from here, although for some reason lately I've been running into a lot of locals, but that's like all the Bonanza grads, and did everybody go to Bonanza? I don't ever run into people like, your mom went to Bonanza, she's over there, I went to Bonanza. Can I get some Rancho people? I'd like some Rancho people and some Clark people. I got all the Bonanza folks. I got some Chaparral folks like I'm running into. But the Bonanza people, honestly, I think you guys are like pod people. You're like reproducing in the dark. And I don't think all you guys actually went to Bonanza. I think you're just claiming Bonanza now because it's popular. I'm just saying, I'm not one to gossip, but I've been running into a lot of them. So I love talking to people who've actually grown up in Las Vegas, who've seen Las Vegas change, and to see what memories we all share. There's like the Facebook page of I Grew Up in Vegas. And that one's really cool. But on the flip side of that is meeting new people. Why did you move to Las Vegas? And you hear all kinds of different answers. A lot of times it's family. Like one person will move out here, like my brother-in-law. He's from Chicago. He moved out here, and then the whole family moved out when they realized we don't have to deal with snow anymore.
Right.
All you have to do is fry in the summertime. They would rather fry than deal with that snow.
Oh, yeah.
But one person might move out, but then some people do move out here because they love the excitement of Las Vegas.
Yeah.
They love being able to. One of the things I love about this town is you can be whoever you want. We don't have any rules or regulations. There are no standards for behavior that you find in other big cities like we are. And we're a big city now, folks. We're a sophisticated city.
We're pretty big.
We've got like now major league sports of all kinds.
Yes, which is so cool.
We've got entertainment coming from all around the world.
Yeah.
We've got these mad, crazy residencies happening.
Yeah.
That, you know, when I was a kid, you had to go to LA to go see anybody.
Right.
Right now, you can just go right down to Caesars and see anybody you want to.
At any time.
At any time, you know. So people are moving here for that. People are moving here for the economy. Our economy is moving back,
Yeah.
is bouncing back again, and it's the vibe in Las Vegas. And every so often, I'll run into a few people who say, "I hate Las Vegas," and I always ask them another question: what are you doing to like Las Vegas? And I find that they tend to be in their own apartment or in that little part of town. They're not trying to make any friends, because Las Vegas is an easy place to make friends in.
Yeah.
It's a matter of reaching out. It's a
Right.
matter of making that connection with somebody and just going and hanging out. And I was listening to, I'm not sure what radio station it was this past couple of weeks, and they said that they saw a study that said it takes somewhere from 30 to 40 interactions with a person before you can actually become friends.
Huh.
So yeah, so you're talking about, it doesn't have to be heavy duty. Like, let's go to Starbucks.
Right.
Or not, maybe not even Starbucks. Let's just meet at the park. If like you have like little dogs, you know, don't have beasts like mine. And you can take your little dogs to the park, or you can go to so many restaurants here now in town
Oh, yeah.
will let you bring your dogs in. Or
Yeah.
come and see, like I'm sure you guys do rehearsals. There's all of these
Yeah.
different organizations here in town, and different, you've got the Crafters Club that meets. I'm hanging out with Irma, one of the two of the Sin City Bounty, well actually all three of the Sin City Bounty girls. They do this thing called Bujo. It's this, yeah, where you can make your own like calendar, and it's like really artistic, and they've got the little pencils out and the Sharpies out, and it's like this thing where they all just get together and they make their own date books.
Wow.
On the surface, it doesn't sound like it, but they're bonded.
I'm
they
sure.
meet and they get together. So
Yeah.
you guys who are in your acting classes, you meet
Yeah.
and you get together. It's a matter of not just picking up the phone, going online. There's all these meetup groups. There are all of these
tons,
different
yeah.
organizations. So if you don't like Vegas, it's because you
It's
didn't
your
try.
problem, right.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it is, and that is really what's so cool about Vegas. Is it's so vast and so different, and you have the mountains right here, you have the lakes, you have all the boat junkies, and and then you have the Strip, of course, and the suburbs. I mean, everything. You
Yeah.
really have it's crazy. There's really not a city like it.
Yeah.
There's really not.
And you've got all of these different little parks. One of the things
Yeah.
that I've noticed since I've become like a dog person, we have probably some of the most beautiful parks in the country.
Yeah.
And as I'm driving around, in the daytime, a lot of them are empty. And I'm talking about really like this time of year. This is the best time of year. It's in the 90s. We haven't started to fry yet. You can still walk your dog in the park. And I'll have the babies in the back seat. And I'm looking at these parks, like in my neighborhood. I'm over by Durango and 215. The parks are empty. So you're at home in your air conditioning, but you don't have to because it's not hot yet. It's
Right.
like I can see it if it's like 120 degrees,
Right.
but we're still in the 80s and 90s.
It's not bad, no.
So we've got the parks, we've got Springs Preserve, we've got
Yeah.
all these different little attractions that you can go to. All of the casinos have these different activities for kids now.
Yeah.
There's bowling, there's theaters everywhere. So if you're not out doing something, it's by choice. You know,
Yeah.
there are a lot of different things, and one of my favorite publications is the Weekly, because
Yeah,
you can
they're
see
great.
at a glance, you know, all of the different things and at all levels of the game, from free to some things that are expensive. But they actually will catalog like, well, what day, and these are the things that are coming. And then in
Yeah.
the back, there's a list of all the things. Another great magazine I like is Pet Scene magazine, because they have all of the different rescues in the back, but also within their publication, they have all the different events that are coming up. And the cool thing is, all the people who advertise, if there's an event that you like, all of their websites are there.
Right.
I'm a really big fan of Sam Ratcliffe of Vegas Rock Dog
Yeah,
Radio.
she's
Isn't she the most fantastic?
she's
And Rockin' for Vegas Rescues. She and Pam Webb
Yeah.
do a lot of different fundraisers. So if you're into pets, you can find, and all you
Yeah.
have to do is like, you can go by just one of their events where they do like, you know, photos. You don't have to take a
Right.
photo. It doesn't cost you anything. If you just, even if you don't have a dog, or a cat, you can go hang out. Martin Seaman, who's with the Poppy Foundation, he works with cats. They have this big, huge area for the cats. They help cats who have been really abused or they're sick and they may not be able to be adopted out. If you don't have a cat and you would like to go hang out with a cat,
There you go.
There you go. And you can hang out with Martin and feed the feral cats. There's all this stuff that you can do in Las Vegas. Sometimes, and I'll feel guilty myself, I'll be one of those people sitting on my couch. I'm not saying that I know that I'm bored, I can't do anything. I'm just overwhelmed at the choices. It's sort of like, well, what do I want to do today? Well, maybe I'll just stay home with the dogs and scoop poop. You know, it's like, that'll be my default because I know I have to do it at some point. But I absolutely cannot say on any given day, Monday through Sunday, because these events happen during the week too, at night, that there is something going on somewhere in this town that you can get involved in and meet really cool people like Corey Taylor. Right.
Well, thank you. But no, it's really, really cool. Yeah. But I do want to talk a little bit more about the premiere because you hosted the red carpet, and I had to tell you, I don't know if everyone was like freaking out to you, but everyone's like, you got Rikki Cheese to host the red carpet. I was like, yeah, I know her. She's like really cool, and everyone was so excited to have you. And thank you so much for doing that. You were amazing at hosting it.
I had a blast, and let's go back to love.
Yes.
That was my first red carpet, so I was a little anxious. I didn't really know how this was going to go, and like, what should I do? And I'd seen other people do them, and you and your mom were just like, "Girl, you got this. Don't worry about it." So then I got there, and I don't get very anxious about very many things, but I was a little nervous that night. I will admit it. I was, because I thought I wanted you guys to be proud of me, and I wanted to do a good job for you, right?
Yeah.
Well, it was so easy because all of the actors, you guys all love each other. It was really hard for me to get them to stop talking. It's like, we can't get in to see the movie if you guys are all going to just like, you talk amongst yourselves. Okay, who do you love? Yeah, well, I love Joe. Okay, that's really good. We've already established this. So let's move on. Go see the movie, right? But it was like fun and just to share and to see the excitement. And that's when I really got, because when I've watched red carpets before, they mostly are the people are posing for the pictures, and I'm just so cool. But this one was more of the actors all sharing their emotion, and you don't really see that much on the commercial red carpets. It's more of the photo op for the star, as opposed to sharing what that actor's experience was. And then I realized that, you know what, of the last 4 or 5 red carpets I've seen here in Las Vegas, have been for attractions downtown on Fremont Street or something happening. But what was special about them was the person who was doing the red carpet actually spoke to the actors, actually asked them questions and let them answer the questions. These weren't just posing, let me move over, or photo ops. It was like, an exchange of a conversation. I know. And I thought that's why that was my thought of the red carpet. I'm thinking, well, my butt looks fat, and I've got muffin top, and how can I pose, because I don't have that whole posing down yet. I did practice in my bathroom, going, how am I going to do that? So then when I got there, that's not what they want me to do. Hi, how are you doing? This is fabulous.
Yeah.
Okay, you've spoken enough. Go. And then to see the laughter. And what she and her mom did was really cool, was so that I would know, because I went on the website and I saw you guys have how many actors in that movie?
Oh, tons.
Oh my God.
Tons and tons.
And so that was making me anxious too. I thought, I'm not going to remember all these names, and I'm not going to remember all these people. So they had them put their names on a little blue card, and what their involvement in the movie was. Well, the first, I think, 5 or 6 people, they were kind of detailed, and it was like really sweet and everything. Well, as the carpet started going on, I can't remember who it was. His name is going to come back to me in a moment. But he hands me his card, and all it has is his name on it, and I'm a killer. Well, let's just cut to the chase right here. Yeah, right. I'm a killer. And so then after that, all the rest of the people who were still in line, they were just cutting to the chase. And we're not going to go with all that flowery stuff that the first 10 people did. I'm a killer, and I'm a screamer. And then one of the girls who was a screamer, and somebody else was like, no, I'm the lead killer. And they were just like kind of going there. It was so enjoyable. And then to see the movie itself, and to realize that the movie was made here in Las Vegas. The production quality was so high, and that was the first movie I'd seen made here, and I thought, wow, we are on a roll. This is amazing. We're known for so many things now that have nothing to do with gaming.
And
this is going to be the next thing, I think.
Oh, honestly, I think the film community, first of all, there is already a gigantic film community here, but I really think it's just going to get more and
Yes.
more. And Caesars is even opening this huge entertainment studio, and they're already planning on bringing, it's like the next Universal Studios type of thing already,
Right.
and they're already planning that.
Right.
And I mean, it's just, it's blowing up already,
Right.
and it's just going to get bigger and bigger every day.
And there's a big, because when I was a kid coming up, I think a lot of people still remember U2's video, "Still haven't found what I'm looking for." This shows how old that thing is. There was no Fremont Street canopy. If you look at you pull that thing up on YouTube, they're walking up and down Fremont
Wow.
Street. There's no canopy.
Wow.
And I hadn't seen that in so many years until recently. I thought, that's how long that has been out.
Right.
And we did have a little bit, I guess there was a time when bands were coming and they were shooting their videos here, but it was a lot of it, I think, was because it was cheap to do here.
Yeah.
And then the lights of either Fremont Street or the Strip. But now you actually have movies being shot here.
Yeah.
We're getting location things like the Matt Damon's last movie that was
Yeah.
on the Strip.
Yeah.
Major big budget shows were coming here because you can't. They can try to build a Las Vegas.
Never going to be
set.
able to.
It just
No.
doesn't work. And then, of course, all of us who are locals, then we sit there and we just B&M about. Now we know he ran. That's the same street, that we went down. They just don't get it because they're
Right.
not from here.
Right.
So they'll make all these little faux pas that we catch. You can't turn off that street and get on the Strip. That's ridiculous. That's all blocked off.
I wish that was.
It's under construction or whatever the case
Right.
may be. So it makes more sense for what you're saying with Caesars for them to happen. And that's just the next evolution of entertainment in Las Vegas because
Yeah.
now gaming, which I find so amazing when it first got started, I just didn't get it at first. Gaming is way behind. People come here now for dining and shopping.
Yeah.
So now they're going to be coming here for movies.
Yeah.
They're coming here for the Strip, for the residencies.
Yeah.
Because now, let's say you're coming here, like Shania Twain's going to be here. So you're coming, or let's just use the Country Music Awards. So you're coming for country music. And then you can get, if the Cowboys are in town, the rodeo's in town, so you get that. NASCAR's in town, so you get that. You can go and see like maybe 3 different forms of entertainment in Las Vegas that you can't go anywhere anywhere else in the world and get that. You go to New York, you're going to go see one event. Even if you go to LA, you're going
Yeah.
to see one event. You can come here on a weekend and you can go to see 3 different events.
Oh,
you can
yeah.
come for EDC and then still go downtown and maybe catch in downtown Las Vegas and catch some other type of festival.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
It's crazy,
You can just
yeah.
exhaust yourself by the different and the different the variation is what I'm
Yeah.
looking at. It's the variety of entertainment that you can come see here in one-stop shopping. One-stop shopping. It's amazing.
It's incredible.
Yeah. And then, like you said, I really respect the people who take the time to get in their cars and explore Red Rock. I mean,
Yeah.
really, Red Rock is spectacular.
It is
Go out
awesome.
to Lake Mead. Lake Mead is spectacular. Go
Yeah.
out, even something as simple as, if you go up to the upper edge of Henderson and Anthem, and you can see the whole valley,
Yeah.
Green Valley Station. You can get on their parking garage. Don't tell them I told you this. But the view from that parking garage
yeah.
is spectacular. The view from the Summerlin Mall is spectacular. There's a Police Memorial Park
Yeah.
up at Cheyenne and Wallapai. That not only do they have this amazing monument for fallen officers, but the view west looking east, you get to see the entire valley and all of Henderson. So
Yeah.
get into your car and go see all of these areas that don't even have anything to do with gaming or entertainment or
No.
anything, but it's just the natural beauty of the desert.
Oh,
is
yeah.
outstanding.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
And we have so many different types. Exactly, like if you're a nature lover, there's so many things out there. Mount Charleston and stuff is beautiful.
Yeah.
And everywhere, exactly like you
Yeah.
said. I mean, it's so cool, and that's what's so amazing about it. It's so diverse, and that exactly.
And one of the
Amazing.
things I really credit a lot of the different organizations here in town, the Flood Control District, and a lot of you who've seen me talk about them. I'm a big fan of a lot of different public organizations that are out there, government organizations that are doing great work.
Yeah.
But one of the things that the Flood Control District has done with the flood control plan, there are actually some of the biggest, prettiest parks here in town are actually flood control detention basins. So they've built them in such a way that you can do soccer, but then you have to get out of it if it rains.
Right.
Or you can go over here, Tule Springs. I grew up with Tule Springs Ranch. They just, not just, it was a while ago, they have this big, huge detention basin on the back end. So you can go horseback riding over here. You can do all of these other events over here by the lake, and they've got the geese and all of the ducks and everything. But then you can also go way back here, and your dogs can run. And then you can go way over here, and you've got the Clark County Shooting Park, which is a world-renowned shooting park. It's just remarkable. So we have all of these different things. You don't even have to, if you don't want to go to the Strip, and I know a lot of locals are like, I never want to go to the Strip.
I like this Strip. I love this Strip. I don't know why. I do. I think it's cool.
Are you one of the few who like really loves it?
I am. It's just, you know, when you actually get down there, and so it's not that beautiful, but from afar, it can be very pretty. And there's so much on it and stuff. I know, but people do hate I hate the tourists on the Strip where they block everything.
I didn't realize, and I'm on my 4th Akita now, and so when I was on my 2nd, I was driving up and down the Strip. I was doing I don't even know what the story was. And I looked to the side, and I realized that there were all these people with strollers. But they didn't have kids in the strollers. They had dogs in the strollers. So I called Dan Cullen. He's one of the public information officers for Clark County. And I said, Dan, can I walk my Akita on the Strip? He said, well, you can walk your dog anywhere in unincorporated Clark County. I am a local girl. Do you know I had never walked on the Strip except for doing openings or working, where you park your live truck, you run out, you run back in, and you go back to the station. I realized I'd never walked the Strip. It is a whole different experience, and the whole world is walking, and you hear all of these accents. And there was a point when I had Sean then. I actually stood at the Hawaiian Marketplace. I don't know what it is about that corner for me, but if you just stand there like in front of the scooter shop and you just close your eyes, you can hear the world walking by you, the accents and all of that. Like there was one weekend, I think everybody from Wales was there, and then there was another weekend and everybody from another country was there because it was like whatever the big sporting event was. And you know, you realize that we're an international city. We really are.
Yes.
And because everybody comes from all around the world, and I will give a shout out against my siblings. They'll be mad at me for saying this, but I'll say to them. And then, long story short, I started walking Sean on the Strip and just really enjoying that experience, you know. And when you have like a big, huge horse that looks like an Akita, people think like you're like a star or something.
That's
it's like
you are a star.
But then I'm like, can I touch your dog? It's like, sure, go ahead. Can I take a picture with your dog? He's like one of the most photographed dogs in the world. But then they passed that ordinance because people were starting to panhandle on the pedestrian walkways, and so they said you couldn't walk your dog anymore. So I'm thinking, well, I'm going to go downtown. So I started taking the dogs downtown. Now, in the meantime, my brothers are sitting up in the Northwest on their couches going, you are a nut. Why are you doing this? And it's like, because everybody from the world comes here. All we have to do is get in our cars. We can drive to it. We don't have to get a hotel room. Then we can drive back home. And what I loved about, and now I get it. I run into more new people who love downtown more than they love the Strip.
I think I like downtown better.
Yes, it's more accessible. Parking it's not free, but it's not as pricey as the Strip.
Oh my
and
goodness.
you can actually find free parking if you're willing to walk a little bit and get some exercise. But the vibe from downtown to the Strip is entirely different.
It is.
Yeah. And I really just kind of fell in love. Now, even though I started on the Strip, if I had a choice, I probably would have stayed on the Strip and never gone downtown. So I'm kind of glad I was forced to go downtown, because now it's just so cool downtown. And I tell people
it's very chill.
It's very chill, and it's very like, I don't know, millennial, and it's like kind of hip. You got the container
it's more
park.
artsy. Yeah, it's different. Yeah,
and the restaurants are really, really trendy, and it's not so overwhelming, you know.
Right,
it's like you can go down to the Fremont Street Experience, and even at that, with the canopy, it's kind of cozy. The canopy is kind of cozy. It's not like you're looking up and it's like the marquee. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying it's a different experience. Don't email me. But it's not like you're sitting like with this big, huge thing overhead and you've got to squint if you get underneath it, and you think you're going to see underneath, J-Lo's outfit. You don't have that experience on Fremont Street. You're not going to see under anybody's outfit. But and then the it's just cozy. It's
Yeah,
just cozy.
no, yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're definitely right. And I want to talk about more to your show
Mm-hmm.
here on the studio, WWDB. Why don't you talk about it? Because it's perfect. It's Vegas, everything. So how did you start doing that too? Because I think it's like the perfect thing for you.
Well, I'm glad you let me share about that, because I love TV news. It's it's a love. But over the years, I've noticed that we weren't covering really, because a lot of people don't know this about me, but I actually started in community affairs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I didn't actually start in news. And so the first 3 years I was in the business, all I did were happy stories about people who were really involved in the community, who were passionate and loved what they did.
Yeah.
Then I went into news, and I remember that first week when I had all of these different organizations who loved me, and people on the strip who loved me, and I actually had to call somebody about something bad, and they were just like, I don't love you anymore. Click. Now you're a news reporter. You're part of the dark side. Go away. So it hurt my feelings. It was like, well, I'm so sorry, but that's what I do now.
It's your job.
It's like,
You don't have a choice.
I'm sorry. Who's going to jail today? It's like somebody stole some money. I'm hanging up on you. So that was my thing. Was I realized that my soul needed to be fed, to start talking to people like you, to the people who, it's so easy in this day and age, and especially because of social media too, with people shouting at each other, to start thinking that everybody's doing something wrong.
Right.
No, we concentrate, unfortunately, whether it's news or social media, on that 1% of people who are unhappy for whatever reason, and they're out there trolling and trying to make trouble. But I really do believe that 99% of the people in this world are good.
Yeah.
And I think that 99% of the people in this valley are good, and they want to do good.
Yeah.
But you know what? If you're raising kids and you're walking dogs and you're trying to make movies and become rich and famous, and you got all this stuff going on in your life, it's so easy to kind of get away from that and forget that.
Of course.
That was the beauty of my show, and I thank John Stiles for reaching out to me and saying, hey, would you like to come on my station and do a show? I now have the opportunity, an hour, to, just like you, to sit and talk to people and let them finish their sentences.
Exactly.
That's my big thing anymore, is I would like to let people finish their sentences. And I will admit, I get excited sometimes in a conversation. Now, in my family, among the cheeses, if you waited for somebody, in a different sense, if you waited for someone to stop talking, not finish their sentences, but stop talking, you would never get a word in edgewise. So what you would do is you would wait for somebody to take a breath, and then you would just jump in, because that's the only way you could get part of the conversation. Or if you were over here with two siblings, and like Mama was over here with somebody else, you'd be sitting here talking here, but your eyes would be over there, because that conversation might be more interesting. So I'm waiting for you to take a breath so I can go over here and get to be part of this conversation, and then suck you over too. And so now you've got 4 people over here, and we're all talking, and we're waiting for somebody to stop talking. It's like, so that
it's stressful.
I do that. Sometimes I'll get really excited and I'll start talking on top of people. It's like, but I'm not trying to cut you off. I just want to be part of the conversation, and I know it's a bad family habit, but I'm
I
trying
got
to
you.
stop that one. It's like, I know some people think that's rude. Don't let them finish their sentence. But then I'm sort of like my puppies. You can see them. They're like, I really want to bark. I really want to bark. Can you stop talking right now? I have one of my nephews. I won't call him by name because he's like a married man now. But when he was really little, I would go over there, and he would be just like a puppy like that. And I'd say, baby, Auntie Ritzy's really tired. And he'd go, okay. And then he would just stand by me and vibrate. I was like, well, go ahead and tell me what you're going to tell me, because by the time you finish vibrating, it's like, whatever. And then he would get so excited. I was like, yes, thank you. And then he wouldn't stop talking. I thought, oh, yeah, he's a Cheese family member. We can go on forever. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, baby, did you get it all out? I think so. Okay, good. But that's the beauty of my show, is I have the opportunity now to talk about any type of topic that I want, to have you on to talk about the film industry, to have politicians on to talk about what's important to them, to have entertainers on to talk about what's on the Las Vegas Strip. I really want to get more, and I'm going to put this shout out there, I'd really like to get more restaurant people on so we can get free food. And that's the only thing that's the only thing I'm missing out on right now. It's like we really need to get like cooking demonstrations on. I used to do a show called Valley View Live when it was over 13, and it took a while when we first started having the chefs on. we couldn't figure out why the chefs were taking the food, because they couldn't use the food. They couldn't, they were going to just throw it away. Well, finally one day the light bulb went off. They weren't taking the food. They wanted their plates.
Oh.
Right. So, right. So we had some plates, and that was like, okay, just shovel the food off of your plate, and so we can have the food and just
we can have it in our stomach.
Go be amongst yourselves. So that's my little tip. If you're going to do a show and you're going to have chefs on, make sure you have your own plates, because they don't really want to use that food anymore. All they're going to do is throw it away. The food should not leave your premises. Get yourself something that you can get your own food.
That's
and
right.
have like we had a supply. We had, over time, we built like all these platters, and then we also had tin foil. You had to have aluminum foil in case you had to wrap something, and then we also had plastic wrap in case somebody wanted to take something home, and then we also had storage bags in case you had something that was, we had like a whole cabinet
That is so
just
funny.
dedicated to the days when we would have the chefs on, and we would tell them up front, you don't have to take your food. We have this whole supply.
We will
over
gladly
here.
take
We will
it.
and they appreciated it, because then they could just take their plates. They didn't have to haul all that stuff out of there.
Yeah.
So yes, that's my tip of the day. If you have a chef on your show,
There
have
you
yourself
go.
a backlog. But that
How
has
brilliant.
been thank you. But that has been the beauty of the show, is I can actually talk to anybody, and I think that's the beauty of what we do.
Yeah.
In the media, most people, a teacher just can't walk up to like Joey Lujan or you and just start talking to you. Oh, lead actress in a movie, let me just talk to you. She's, they're not going to do that. But in our business, we have the permission to go up and talk to anybody that we want to, and sometimes they talk and sometimes they don't. But it's fascinating to find out who people are, why they do what they do. And when I have people on now, I don't just talk about their programs. I really try to find out, who are you? What made you, if you're, let's say, if you're running a nonprofit like a show I just did recently, what's your motivation for doing this? And giving them the opportunity, more than a 6-second soundbite, which there's nothing wrong with that, but for them to actually explain why they do what they do, how they do what they do, what the community can do to support them. We had Dirk Berman on, and
he's a great guy.
Oh, he's a great guy, because he's been on your show too.
Yeah.
And I was jealous when I saw him on your show. It's like, I want to have enough space between me and Corey's show, because I wouldn't talk to him, because I wanted to meet him in person. Sitting on the couch one night, and I saw Bad Ink. And then I realized he was from here. I thought, I'm going to track him down, because guys, I stalk all my guests, and that's how I find them. And so I thought, one day I'm going to meet Dirk Verman, and then had the opportunity to have him on and have him be able to talk about the evolution as he's seen it about tattoos, and to talk about his experience with A&E and Bad Ink, and to talk about more than just, one little thing, and to talk about his family, and to talk about what he's seen in the community. And I think that's, for me, I've learned so much in just the past year of doing my show, Live Las Vegas with Rikki Cheese, about my community than I probably have in the last 4 or 5 years. I'm sitting here on any given day kind of going, I had no idea that was happening.
Right.
Because when you're chasing, tragedy, when you're chasing breaking news, you're not going to spend a lot of time with that. And then I would go home at the end of the day, and by the time I walked the dogs and went to the dog park, I would get these invitations for great events. I'm too tired.
Oh yeah, you're done.
I'm toast, and so now I'm not too tired. I want to go out and I want to actually meet people. I want to, and I have the opportunity to do that and have them be on the show and to expand on what they do. And what I find is one show leads to another. Like they'll say, well, did you hear about this? Well, no, I didn't. Well, did you hear about this? Our community is so vibrant. I know a lot of, I've been hearing a lot lately from people who say, and please, understand, I am a big fan that the NBA is coming and the WNBA is coming and the Golden Knights are here just taking names, kicking butt, taking names.
That's right.
It's amazing.
Our boy.
Oh my gosh. And people are saying, well, they've united the community. I think our community was united before.
I agree.
It gave us something to celebrate and to kind of get our minds over, that trauma. Is just, I don't
Makes
even
me sick to my stomach.
I don't even think really initially, after it happened, there was a real outpouring of support and people really came together. Now I think we're kind of numb because it's sort of like the enormity of 58 people, who went for a fun event. 58 people. Even as I say that, it's sort of like, So the Golden Knights, thank you. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for the owner who's really getting out there and getting them involved. Thank you for MGM Resorts for really pushing big-time sports. Thank you for all of the organizations who are doing things on a massive level and then thank you for all of the smaller organizations who are doing their part to really emphasize what I'm saying is that the majority of the people in this community are really, really good people, and we really need to and we're doing it with Vegas Strong. We just really need to lean on each other and say, you know what? Hey, this is love. We're, one crazy person, the lady who drove up and down the strip, we're not going to let one crazy person say that we don't love each other and in many cases, they weren't even from here. Yeah. So it's sort of like, you're not even a local. It's not even a local running around here acting crazy. You drove in here from California. You drove in here from Mesquite.
Right.
It shouldn't have happened anywhere, but don't come here and try to steal our joy.
Exactly.
We have joy. We love each other. We speak to each other in the store. We help each other when something's happening.
Yeah.
We help each other when there's a flood or somebody's house burns or we're here. Our Red Cross is amazing. All of our different organizations are amazing. Las Vegas Rescue Mission, Shade Tree, Safe Nest. I mean, I can go on and on and on with the different organizations, the different sponsors. Veterans Village, Arnie Stock, what he's doing for veterans. And these are just my favorites who I have on the show a lot. And if you would like to be on my show, please contact me because I would love to reach out to you. But we have all of these groups that are like this with each other. They are in lockstep. They're holding hands with each other. And that's what I love about this community is that people are holding hands and they're saying, what do you need? Good example, Rosalind Brooks, who runs the community garden, Vegas Roots Garden. I met somebody who, through Project 150 for homeless kids here in isn't that great? So I met this guy through that, and he told me how he went to a construction project and he saw all these bricks that they weren't going to use. So he gets on the phone to Rosalind and gets them donated. That's the kind of underground helping hands that's happening in this community. People will see something and say, hey, they'll pick up the phone. Did you know this was available? Would you like to use that?
Right.
It's like, I don't know if this happens anywhere else because this is my only experience, but this is my hometown, and I'm telling you, this happens all day,
time.
Every day, and it's spectacular.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more.
And I can have the people on my show. I can say, well, come on my show and talk. And then, like, when I leave here, I'm going to have to power down. Because I did my show earlier, and then I'm on her show. And it's going to be like being on a rock concert. And I'm going to be like this because I was on Corey's show. And most of my girlfriends are still at work. And who can I call right now? Because we're on a different... I'm so excited still. I'm all pumped up. And that's how I feel about on every single show, even on the days when I'm tired, because the people I'm talking to are so passionate and so genuine, and that energy I'm just like going, wow.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful. I say, thank you, God, that you gave me this profession that I can share people's lives and share their air and share their vibration. How cool is that?
Oh, it's amazing. And that's why I love your show, too, because it's so positive. And that's how my show, we wanted it to be, too, just positive, because there's not enough of it in the world. So
your
people
last
like
show
you.
that I saw was you had on the guy from
Three Square.
Yeah,
Will Everett, he's amazing.
Yes.
And Three Square is such an incredible. I did their tour there yesterday, and it's fascinating.
That?
It's absolutely fascinating. It's gigantic. It's beautiful. The place is just awesome, and you could feel the whole energy there. I mean, it's an incredible place. Incredible.
And a lot of people, they want to come down on the gaming industry. I think it's so easy. Whenever there's a need, people immediately go to the gaming industry, or in downtown, they're like, well, just call Tony Hsieh, and he's a multi-billionaire. He's just can write a check. No, it's incumbent upon us as citizens in this community, as members of this community. We're the ones who are supposed to be doing this and providing the help. And that is where it really is important that we all get out and find out what the need is, because you don't have to, put in a lot of time, but every little bit that we do makes a difference. And if I can have somebody on my show to talk about it, and you can have somebody on your show to talk about it, and maybe just one person out there says, yeah, I want to volunteer for Three Square, yeah, I want to volunteer for Las Vegas Rescue Mission or Shade Tree, our job is done. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on, Rikki. Where can people find you and follow you and everything? And your show, where can people watch that?
We air live at 2 o'clock on Tuesdays, and of course we're on the WWDBTV website, and we're of course on YouTube and Roku. And somebody just pointed out to me recently, girl, I've got 40 shows. I know that you have more shows than I do, but I didn't realize, because it's been so much fun and it's gone by so fast. I didn't count the shows. I was just doing them. I thought, 40 shows? Wow, what did I talk about? What did I find to talk about? But each one was fascinating, and each guest, after every single show, I go away so appreciative, so grateful to be part of Southern Nevada, to be a Las Vegas girl, and it's just great.
Awesome. Well, I love you, Rikki. You're incredible. And Vegas is so lucky to have you here. So
I'm grateful to be here.
Definitely. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Please go check out Rikki and everything, which I'm sure you already have, because she, like I said, absolute icon. But thank you guys so much for watching. And remember, never give up. Always believe, and you will achieve. Thank you, and God bless.